Hi, welcome everyone to the Super Smart Women podcast. I'm Karen Medina, your host, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. If this is your first time with us, you're in for a treat. If you are a regular listener, well, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. I hope that you'll uh, subscribe and join us every week where I spend time talking with super smart women. But today's episode is actually going to be a little different. I'm not interviewing someone today. I'm talking to you about Christmas. Christmas is my absolute favorite time of the year, and I wanted to share with you my 10 favorite things about Christmas. When I talk to other super smart women, balance is a word that I hear all the time. It's challenging, but it's so very important. Part of that balance is time with family, and that is one reason Christmas is so special for me. This Christmas is extra special for two reasons. First, it's going to be the first Christmas I'll get to spend with three of my grandchildren. I recently got married to the love of my life, and he has six children. I have two. Mine don't have any children yet, but his six children do have some children, and his youngest son is moving to the area, and his children are 6, 8, and 9 years old. And so they'll be at our house on Christmas Day, and Santa will be visiting our home for the first time in a while. And I am so excited to share magic with them, the magic of Christmas. Second reason it's extra special to me this year is because of my mom. My mom has dementia. And while I don't know how many more Christmases she'll truly experience and enjoy, she'll enjoy this one. And she's just recently moved to the area to be closer to us, and I'm so glad that she's going to be here. She has always been the keeper of Christmas in our family, and so I'm cherishing the traditions that she has passed down to us more than ever this year, and I'm looking forward to sharing those with her. So let's dive into my favorite things about Christmas and what makes Christmas so magical for me. Number one, the Christmas story. It is the reason for the season. I want to start right there with the heart of Christmas, the birth of Jesus. The Christmas story is a constant reminder of hope, love, and the ultimate gift of grace. It's why we celebrate this season with so much joy and generosity. One of my most favored and treasured possessions is my Fontanini Nativity Set. My mom started this set for me when I was in my early 20s, and it's grown over the years. I think every year she gave me another piece for my set for probably 20 years. And then I've added some other pieces myself. But every time I set that up, I think of her and the values that she instilled in me and the faith, that foundation that she provided for me and for my family. I also love the live nativities. I've seen so many of them, but the live nativity at the church that my husband and I attend, Lingoville Baptist, is by far the best one I have ever seen in my life. You get to see the story of not only Jesus's birth, but his life and the crucifixion and resurrection. And it is such a powerful reminder of what this season is truly about. My second favorite thing about Christmas is dressing up as Mrs. Claus. Now, I didn't do this when I was younger. Obviously, I had to wait till I got the right colored hair for this. But I started doing this about 3 years ago at the school that I was teaching at, and I fell in love with being able to play this role. I love the magic that I see when a child walks up to me and sees Mrs. Claus. They feel like they've got the backdoor access to Santa. They get to talk to the person who is going to remind them about what they're looking for Christmas. And I'll get asked the most amazing questions, like which reindeer is my favorite? Do I know the reindeer? Do I know the elves? Are they always naughty? Some of these questions are absolutely precious. And, I've gotten to play Mrs. Claus in a variety of settings. I've gotten to play it at schools. I get to do it at our local community at our annual Santa visit, be there with them when they're taking pictures with Santa. And I recently did this in our local area, our downtown annual Christmas festival, Holly Jolly. It was a magical 3 hours. And I got to see the Tarleton basketball team. Got a picture taken with the entire basketball team, which was extra special. I saw special friends from Rock House, which is a local home for people with development disabilities, and it reminded me that not every um, person stops, seeing Santa in the same way when they get over the age of 12. These special people looked at me with eyes that had the magic of children, and it was just so amazing to see that. And so many children that I got to talk with that evening. It was just absolutely precious. And I love being Mrs. Claus. I'll walk around with my giant Christmas mug, and passing out peppermint candies, talking with them, and taking photos. It absolutely is one of my favorite things about Christmas. One of my next favorite things about Christmas is actually decorating for Christmas. I love to walk into my house and just see Christmas everywhere. It looks like Christmas was thrown on every wall in the house. I love decorating my Christmas tree. I have a very special tradition with my Christmas tree for the last, I think, 12 years. There is a young lady in the Fort Worth area who comes to my house every year, Thanksgiving, and she spends Thanksgiving with us. And one of the things that we always do is put up the Christmas tree. And so she has been responsible for putting up my Christmas tree now, I think 12 years. And it is just such a special tradition for us. She will start calling me and telling me that it's time to put up the Christmas tree, and that I better not let anybody else put up the Christmas tree, that that's her job and she wants to come and do it. And I love that. The ornaments on my Christmas tree, every one of them has some special meaning. It was either an ornament that I got when I was younger or I made when I was younger. I have ornaments on my Christmas tree that I made when I was probably 7, 8 years old. I have ornaments that were bought on vacations that we went to on. I have ornaments that were given to me as special gifts. Everything on my tree is a special memory. My daughter likes to put up a Christmas tree now that is very clean and pristine and all one color, and it's that new beautiful tree that you see everywhere. And she wants to know why I won't change my Christmas tree. But this tree, every part of the tree, when I look at it, reminds me of something special about Christmas, a memory that I have. So my Christmas tree will never change. I just keep adding more and more ornaments to it. I also love, in addition to the Christmas tree and the nativity set that I have a small Christmas village that I love looking at. I love all the little houses and the lights that come on in the houses. I have a nutcracker collection that actually was passed down to me by my mom, and I got a few of them, and my sisters got a few of them, and so it's a collection that I'll just continue to add to. And I got a collection of Santas. So all of these are throughout my living room in my house. Just looks, bright and festive for the entire holiday season. I love that about Christmas. I also love making Christmas cookies. One of my favorite traditions has been making, sugar cookies with royal icing, adding the sprinkles, doing the border and the flood icing. I like the royal icing cookies because you can stack them and they don't get all messed up. When you do icing on a cookie and you stack them, suddenly they're going to be a mess. And I like that when you're done with a royal icing cookie, it's solid and it's fixed and it doesn't mess up this beautiful decoration that you work so hard to do. It's messy putting it together and creative, but it is so much fun. I'm looking forward this year to baking cookies and decorating them with my grandchildren because I've never gotten to do that. before. So this sweet tradition is going to get even more special doing that with the children this year. Another one of my favorite traditions is, or things about Christmas, is Christmas parties. I love that the month of December seems to be full of companies having parties, organizations having parties. One of the organizations that I'm involved with, National Association of Women Business Owners, they have a Christmas event tomorrow, Frost and Flannel, and we're actually pulling together toys and items needed for the gospel mission. And so I love that a lot of the Christmas parties that I go to have a theme of generosity and giving to others. And I love getting together and spending time with friends and enjoying that festive atmosphere. It is such a wonderful way to celebrate Christmas, and to be with the people that you care about. Another favorite of mine is Christmas movies. I am a self-proclaimed Hallmark nut during the Christmas season. I think Hallmark Channel stays on the background the whole season, but there are some classics that I absolutely love. I love Home Alone. I think I've probably watched it 100 times, maybe more. I love all of the quotes that you hear throughout the year. Somebody will say a quote or something from the movie, and I'm like, oh, Home Alone. And that just absolutely is magical. Elf is one of my favorites. When Elf and Zoe Deschanel, I can't think of her character in the movie's name, but when they sing, when they have the It's Cold Outside duet, I get chills. It's absolutely one of my favorite Christmas songs. And so I love hearing them sing it. And one of my other favorite Christmas movies is Die Hard. And yes, I'm one of those that actually believes that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, without a doubt. It is absolutely a Christmas movie, and it's one of the ones we always watch around the Christmas season. But there are so many Christmas movies that I love watching. Another one of my favorites is Christmas music. I love all of the traditional Christmas carols, as well as a lot of the newer hits. But one of my favorite things is listening to KLTY play all of the Christmas music throughout the month of December. I think it starts somewhere around Thanksgiving. And it absolutely sets the perfect mood for the season. Now that I play Mrs. Claus, though, there needs to be a new version to the I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I think we need to have an I Saw Daddy Kissing Mrs. Claus version of that song. So I'd love for someone to make that and have that come out on TikTok, because I think that is appropriate for the super smart women in this program. I think I start humming. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas somewhere around Halloween. But I remember growing up, in my hometown in Lynette, Alabama, there was a Christmas musical special that was put on. It's called Hanging of the Greens, and it was at one of the churches in town. And the Hanging of the Greens was a magical night of music, tradition. The lady that I took dance from growing up, she was the one that coordinated that. And I remember going to that for years and years and years. And I just love that churches are still putting on those traditional Christmas programs and celebrating, the magic of Christmas. I know a lot of the Methodist churches, ones that I've attended, they'll have the decorating of the Christmas tree, and I think that's a beautiful tradition. But I love the music that surrounds all of that. Another one of my favorite things about Christmas is riding around to see the Christmas lights. There is something magical about riding around with your family and looking at all of the different ways, the creative ways that people decorate their homes for Christmas. You have those that are understated with white lights and it's beautiful. And then you have those that are Griswolds and they're off the chart on the other end. You wonder if their electricity bill triples during the holiday season. But it is just amazing to see all the different lights that people will decorate their homes with. And you just can see the world light up that way. And I love riding around looking at Christmas lights. The Christmas morning traditions is another one of my favorite things about Christmas. At our home growing up, when we would get up in the mornings, we couldn't go into the living room before our parents did. We had to go and wake our parents up. And we had a kind of a back way to get to our parents' room. We go and wake our parents up. They'd often tell us to go back to bed because 5 a.m. is not a reasonable time to get up on Christmas morning. But usually about 7 a.m., they would allow us to wake them up, and then they would go and see if Santa had come to visit our house. Fortunately, he always had. And so we would then go in with them to see what Santa had brought. And we'd, spend some time seeing what Santa brought. We wouldn't open presents yet. We would see what Santa brought and spend some time with that first. And then my mom would cook Christmas breakfast. It was always a burrito breakfast. Well, it actually used to be eggs Benedict. And then we figured out that burritos were a lot easier to do. So we had Christmas burrito breakfast, which seems more fitting in Texas now because I continue that tradition. And after we did our burrito breakfast, then we would open presents. We would exchange gifts, and you have to open one present at a time. You can't rapidly open up all of your gifts. Everybody goes around in a circle and opens one gift, and everybody sees what they got. And you go to the next person and they open a gift and you see what they got. And it always, it was always frustrating, but in the end, it was great that you actually got to see what everybody else received, and you actually got to enjoy the moment of opening the present and looking at it before you rushed to the next one. So I love that my mom slowed down that time for us and had us opening presents that way. And so we still do that in our house. I've done that with my children for years, and I love that tradition. The next thing we do is open up our stockings. And so Santa fills the stockings at our house. And so we take time looking at what was in our stockings. And it's always something unexpected. It's always the usuals. I mean, you're going to get fruit, you're going to get candy, you're going to get probably some nuts, but there's always something special and unexpected in the stockings. And I love that tradition. I remember one time, though, and I guess this is my caution for any of the younger children that may eventually listen to this program. I thought that I was going to be super smart. That was said tongue in cheek, and sneak around the house and try and figure out what I was getting for Christmas before Christmas morning. So I snuck into my mom's closet and I found 2 winter coats. It was in the era of the 80s where we were wearing rabbit fur coats, right? And so there were 2 rabbit fur coats hanging in the closet. And my sister and I are both getting rabbit fur coats for Christmas. I was ecstatic because I hadn't asked for that, but there were 2, so it had to be for me. And then Christmas morning came around and we all opened up presents, and my sister, Rhonda, got a rabbit fur coat and I didn't. I got what I'd asked for, but I didn't get a coat. And so I was disappointed. And that was something that I set myself up for. And it was years later when I told my mom that I had done this. Years, maybe 15 years later. No, maybe 10. And when I told her this, she remembered that Christmas and she said, "Oh, Karen, that other coat was never for you. I brought 2 home so your dad could decide which one he wanted to give to Rhonda, and I took the other one back. But you didn't ask for a coat that Christmas. I'd asked for a record player, and I got a record player. But I'd set myself up for disappointment." Well, that was the last Christmas that I ever snuck around looking for presents and looking to spoil my Christmas surprise. And I've shared that with my children, and I've shared that with so many people because the magic of Christmas is in that surprise and in not knowing when you open up a present that it's unexpected. So there's my lesson learned about snooping around at Christmas. And I wanted to share that with you guys here as I talk about opening up Christmas presents. But I absolutely love all of the Christmas morning traditions that we've created in our family. And I think the one of the last things, at least in my top 10 list, I could probably go on for another 10 more, top 20 things. I probably have top 50 things that are my favorite things about Christmas. But the Christmas meal with family. Our Christmas meal on Christmas Day is Usually we have about 20 people at the house, maybe more. The counter is filled with classic casseroles. We've always been a casserole family. So we have the turkey and the dressing, we have the cranberry sauce, we have the gravy, but we have casserole upon casserole upon casserole. Mac and cheese, it's one of my absolute favorites. My grandmother's recipe, and I make it every year. Broccoli rice, green bean casserole, sweet potato souffle. There's just so many wonderful casseroles that we don't seem to make throughout the year, but when it comes to Christmas, we make all of them in that same day. And we do have dressing. We don't have stuffing. I am a Southern girl, so we make dressing. I've had stuffing before. I have to say I'm still a dressing fan, but I love just the overflow of food, and then the overflow of desserts. We have peach cobbler and pecan pie and pumpkin pie, and new favorite added, banana pudding. My best friend's husband, his mom's recipe for banana pudding is absolutely amazing. And so that's been a wonderful dessert that we've added to our holiday traditions. And I'm so thankful for them, and for the food that she adds to everything that we do. But that Christmas meal is just a time for family, laughter, creating memories, and it's absolutely magical for us and our family. As wonderful as Christmas is, I do also want to acknowledge that it's not always a joyous time for everyone. There are those that are hungry, lonely, grieving, or struggling to find hope. And my prayer is that we all take a moment to reach out to someone in need this season. Make an extra seat at your table, add someone to your holiday traditions. A small act of kindness can mean the world to someone. And finally, if you don't know or believe in the true meaning of Christmas, I invite you to learn about the gift of Jesus Christ. Accepting him as your Savior is the greatest gift you'll ever receive. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so grateful that you spent a little time with me. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our podcast and be sure to plan and join us each week, as I am talking again with more super smart women next week. And I'm looking forward to having you with us again. Until then, stay smart, stay savvy, and Merry Christmas.